Welcome to Being Real with Olivia. My name is Olivia Olinger and I love movies and shows. Okay, so this is my Arcane episode 1 through 3 of season 2 review with spoilers. So I'm basically going to be going over like my opinion on what I thought of the show, some like main key stuff that happened and like kind of my thoughts and feeling towards it. I'm not going to be giving a recap of like the whole episodes, but I'll go over the main ideas. This is the spoiler version, so if you do not want to like give anything away or if you haven't seen it yet, then check out my previous video, which is a review of episodes 1 through 3 of season 2, and it contains no spoilers, but this is the spoiler version. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 of season 2 will come out on November 16th, so I'm going to try to get this out as fast as I can before then. But let's get started. Every episode of Arcane season 2 has been like 40 minutes. The last episode might have been a little longer, but they all went by super fast. Like when I was watching, it felt like they were only 20 minutes. So let's talk about the first episode. The first episode was pretty boring. Nothing intense or super cool happened. They were mostly dealing with the tragedy and death from when Jinx launched a missile at the counselor building. 3 counselors died. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have no idea what their names are. It was like the robot looking guy, and then like the guy with the brown beard and hair who always wore the red. And then Caitlyn's mom died too, leaving Caitlyn in complete despair, where we can see how her mother's death like completely started to change her character and affect her mentally. All the rest of the counselors survived, but just got a few injuries or broken parts. Victor, on the other hand, got super hurt and was like slowly dying, so Jace brought him to the Hex Room to see if it could help him, and it like formed itself against Victor, like making him into a wall kind of, and he was just like in a coma there or something. It was pretty freaky. So that's what happened to the council. Caitlyn was attending her mother's funeral, and Vi was just kind of hanging around, staying out of sight, doing her own thing. But basically, Piltover is in shambles now. Like I mentioned in the last video, the animations and graphics of this season are way better. Like they're more brighter, colorful. Even Zon, like everything just looks different. I don't quite know how to explain it, but let's just say it definitely looks like we had to wait years for this to come out. Like they took their time on it. With Marcus dead, Caitlyn is now one of the head officers, and she actually offers Vi to become a Piltover officer too. Vi refuses since she's from Zon and it just wouldn't look good, and with everything happening right now like that her sister did, she thought that people wouldn't be very welcoming of her. And it just looks bad. I mean, the Piltover soldiers, they're gonna like go down in Zon and storm it, and they're gonna like take hostages and question people, and Vi doesn't want to be a part of that. I mean, Zon was her home. Like, she's not just on Zon's side or Piltover's, like she's on both sides. She just wants peace. Caitlyn just wants revenge though. She's ready to kill Jinx for Jinx murdering her mother, and she wants all of Zon to pay for what they've done. Which, it almost seems to me like Vi and Caitlyn switched. So that was kind of funny because Caitlyn was always like proper and needed peace, and Vi was always the one like, yeah, let's go storm things and fight people. So it's just funny how they completely swapped. Caitlyn and Vi get in a huge fight because of that, and Caitlyn leaves and Vi goes and like sleeps on the side of the street getting all drunk with some hobo guy who I guess they're trying to make like become a character now because they keep like showing him up. I mean, he seems chill, but it's just kind of random that like in season 2 this old guy just randomly comes in and we're like, oh, he's a part of this now? We've never seen him before. He doesn't really like have much to offer, but he's on their side, I guess. I mean, he seems pretty cool. There's a ceremonial event where like all of Piltover goes to and Counselor Medarda speaks. They're like, it's like a wake for the 3 counselors they've lost or something. They get attacked by members of Zon. It was one of the ladies from the Ken Barons whose son Jason Vi murdered, and she was ready to get revenge on Jace for killing him. There was fighting and chaos, and eventually the bad guys lost, but they still took a huge amount of damage and destruction to the ceremony. Showing now how much Zon is rebelling, and that Piltover needs to do something because it's only going to be getting worse. Like before, when Silco was in charge, nobody really did anything. It was mostly civil because Silco was making deals with some of the topsiders like Marcus, so he didn't want to like destroy Piltover or anything. But now that there like is no ruler, now like things are getting crazy. I don't really know if the Ken Barons were the leaders, but like they have been stepping it up and like they've been attacking and like making deals. I don't think they're the leaders of like the whole of Zon, but they've definitely been like acting for themselves and making their own decisions. Vi decides to take Caitlyn's offer and she becomes a Piltover enforcer now. She's like, yeah, I cannot defend Zon anymore. It has gone off the rails and I need to choose a side, and I'm on the side of Piltover. Because Vi has completely given up on saving Jinx. She's like, yeah, no, that girl, not my sister anymore. And Jinx gave up on Vi, too. Now she's, like, completely mad at her sister, and she's gonna kill her. So basically, in episode 1, Vi chose the side she wants to be on and is now a Piltover enforcer. We saw how changed Caitlyn is and how she's kind of, like, starting to become really obsessive with murdering Jinx and, like, making people pay to, like, an unhealthy and scary level. And we saw how Piltover is in shambles and is, like, completely suffering. And then they showed Victor, who was like in the hex rune wall thing, so that was pretty interesting. Is it just me, or did this season have like a whole different vibe than season 1? Like, it just felt like I was watching a completely different show. I mean, this season is still really good so far, but like it just felt like not even the looks of the cities, but like some of the characters and everything was just like, oh wow. This is gonna be very interesting to see how the rest of the show plays out. So now let's talk about episode 2, where we see things start actually happening. It opens up with Jinx, who's in the underside, and she's kind of just wandering around without a purpose. There's wanted posters of her everywhere, like people want to take her now. Like most of the Ken Barons want to take Jinx and hand her over to Piltover since they really want her and they can like get paid or, you know, whatever. Like Smeech, for example, this ugly goblin Yoda thing, wants to take her, and he has a group of followers. Savika says, like, no, we cannot hand over our own people, even though Jinx is kind of crazy, but he's convinced. They come up with a plan to capture her, which wasn't a really good one. They're doing an interesting take on this show and, like, having us sympathize with Jinx more and, like, trying to humanize her a little bit. She doesn't seem as crazy and out of control as she did in the first season. In fact, in these episodes, it's almost like she's in control of her emotions. I mean, she's still crazy, but like, she doesn't get flashbacks anymore, and she doesn't like see her like dead people. She seems to be like a little more chill. And we see that when she like murders a group of guards, which, okay, not chill, but she kills them to save a little kid's life. I did a little research on this kid, so I'm like, who is this? I didn't find much. I think it was from like League of Legends before, but I think the name is like Isha or something. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Isha. Jinx accidentally like takes Isha in because Isha's like following her around everywhere, and like she's been saving Jinx's life and kind of observing her. It's a cute concept and idea they did, because now we can be like, oh, well, Jinx is with a kid, so she's clearly not, like, super psychotic and gone. Maybe she does still have a touch of human in her. Meanwhile, Victor awakens, and bro is salty. Like, there's something suspicious going on about him. He leaves Jace in the council, and he's like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm going back to Zon, or wherever. Leaving poor Jace, who just saved his life and didn't even get a thank you, flabbergasted, like, I just saved your life and you're leaving me? Like, I'm your partner. We're supposed to stick together, but nope. Bro was just like, yep, bye. Bro was just using him to get better because the hex rune seemed to, like, fix Victor, and now he can walk around. And it turns out he has, like, some magical powers because he, like, turned into Arcane Jesus or something. When he, like, touches the Zon people or anyone, he, like, transformed like their dying, deteriorating body and turned them into like their normal healthy selves again. And he already has like a group of people who worship him now because he saved someone's life, so now he's got like a whole bunch of followers. So this is going to be really interesting to see how the show plays out, because clearly like the arcane magic and things are waking up and stuff is happening, so it'll be very interesting. I don't really know, but something happened at the end of episode 3 that was really weird. Jace, Professor Heimerdinger, and Echo went to like the bottom of the hex portal things because the hex gates, because they felt that the source of energy and magic was down there. And then they like touched something and got warped into like the hex rune or hex core or whatever. And a lot of weird stuff happened, and when they did that, everything else that was hex magic powered started to like function and like seem to react to that. Meanwhile, the Piltover enforcers have been like gassing the crap out of Zon. They've been like putting in poisonous gas that like makes everyone unconscious, like just completely throughout the city, hoping to find Jinx. Which it's cool to see that the Piltover officers are actually doing something now and they're really cracking down and getting hardcore. Because in the first season, it felt like they didn't really do much. Like, they were just kind of useless because Marcus was the head officer and he was working for Silco. So he was, like, telling them, like, no, don't do this, don't do that, because he didn't want to go against him. So it's cool to see how powerful they are and to see, like, whoa, they're actually serious in this season now that they have a good leader. They almost caught Jinx when they were smoke bombing the building that she was in, but Jinx managed to get away. It's basically like a more OP version of that like smoke stuff you throw in Fortnite that Snoop Dogg uses. When you throw it and it releases that gas that like kills you. On Fortnite, it takes a ridiculous amount of damage. Jinx realizes that she needs to make some allies because she's pretty much all alone now, with everybody trying to capture her. The Piltover guards and the Ken Barons who want to turn her in. So she's like, yeah, maybe I should start making some friends and not having everyone be my enemy. Speaking of the Ken Barons, they wait for her to come out of the building and then they attack her. And they almost take her away when Savika jumps in and saves her life. Okay, this was literally so cute because Jinx built her like a robotic arm since Vi ripped off her other arm in the last episode. So now Savika has like a robotic arm that Jinx made her that has, of course, like bombs and a whole bunch of like cool stuff in it. But it was like so cute because like we kind of watched her make it, but we had no idea what she was like doing or building. We were like, oh, what is she doing? And then we just saw her like give it to Savika and it's like, oh my gosh, that's actually so adorable. Like, I love how she did that for Savika because Savika and Jinx like never really got along in season 1 because they were both kind of like competing against each other for Silco. Or at least Jinx was. She was always jealous of Savika, and then Savika thought that Jinx was a deranged maniac, which in her defense she was, but I love how they became close now, since they both like had a heart-to-heart about Silco. And I love those two as a duo. Like, literally, they're like super strong, super OP, and they're just like both kind of chill people when they're not murdering everybody and Jinx not being a psychotic person. They're chill together is what I meant to say. So Savika was whipping the Ken Barons' butts with her robot arm, and Isha comes out and Jinx, and they're watching, and they're just kind of like dancing along to the music that Jinx installed in it. It was a really like cool fight scene and just so satisfying to watch. A fun scene that like the characters like weren't all attacking each other and it wasn't like super intense. There was more humor in it, and Arcane isn't really like a silly show. It's pretty serious, and like usually the fight scenes are like super intense and like somebody always dies or something happens. So this was just kind of funny. So now Isha, Jinx, and Savika are like a little trio. So basically in episode 2, Savika, Isha, and Jinx all like joined together and now they're like fighting crime together. Or fighting the good guys, I should say. Piltover enforcers are cracking down and like smoking the city out. And Victor just straight up left everyone to go on some whole side quest. Although Counselor Medarda's mom is cooking up something too. She murdered like the main woman of like this witchy thing. I don't really know what it is, but she killed someone pretty important. So now things are definitely not going to turn out well, which we see they don't when Counselor Medarda gets kidnapped by one of those people. They do like dark art magic or something. I don't really know what it is because it's different than all like the hex tech magic we've seen. It's like its own thing. So basically Counselor Medarda's mom, Ambessa, screwed her over by like keeping secrets from her and not telling her anything, because maybe if her mom would have told her like what she done, then Mel could have at least kind of prepared for it. But nope, she just got blindly kidnapped. The Piltover enforcers are still looking for Jinx, and Vi and Caitlyn see clues that lead to somewhere else in a trap set up by Jinx, where there's like an epic fight scene between Savika, Jinx, Caitlyn, and Vi, which we see for the first time the sisters fighting against each other. And boy, was it insane. The music was phenomenal. Seems like it's gonna be like the new kind of fighting theme song. And they almost defeated Jinx, but then Isha comes out and like jumps on top of Jinx, like when Caitlyn held the gun to her and was like, no, don't save her, or, whoa, what? No, don't shoot her. And Caitlyn is like insane now by grief and revenge. She almost shot a child just to get to Jinx. So Vi is like, what the frick? So she like grabs hold of her and then like they go through like this vent thing and like get out of there, which Caitlyn freaks out at Vi and is like, I could have killed her. And Vi was like, there was a child. Yeah, you guys have seen it. Anyway, Caitlyn is completely crazy now because of her grief. I feel like Caitlyn's gonna turn into like the anti-hero, like a Deadpool type thing where she, you know, overall like does good things to save the city of Piltover, but she's not afraid to hurt a lot of innocent people in the process, which, you know, isn't, like, it's controversial. Like, obviously killing children is not good, but also, like, girl, how far are you willing to go just to, like, avenge your mother? Which seems to me like it's gonna be pretty far because Counselor Medarda's mom, Ambessa, like, made her become head soldier out of Piltover and Noxian. So basically, Caitlyn is, like, gonna become a super soldier now, and she, like, can control the whole army, which maybe isn't for the best. Maybe we need someone a little more rational, like Vi, to do that stuff, who, you know, kind of wants to create peace and not destroy it. But Ambessa, she seems pretty cunning. Like, I think she's got, like, this whole bigger thing going on. It seems to me like she's just using Caitlyn because of her grief. She's like, hey, here's a girl who just lost her mom, and she's pretty unhinged right now. I'm gonna manipulate her and twist her into doing what I want. So in episode 3, the two sisters fought. Caitlyn's basically the Jinx of Piltover. Counselor Medarda is kidnapped. And Professor Heimdinger, Echo, and Jace are in some weird hex magic thing, and things aren't looking too good for them. And Victor's Jesus. So yeah, that's basically what happened in season 2 so far. I cannot stress enough how excited I am for the next set of 3 episodes. Like, things are gonna be so cool. And in the trailers, Vi gets, like, dark hair, and she kind of gets, like, a whole makeover, which, like, the dark hair punk look is gonna look so good. Like, that's actually gonna be so awesome. And we see Jinx become more of, like, an icon, and some stuff is happening with the arcane magic, so I'm really pumped. These episodes felt kind of rushed in my opinion, though. Like, everything, like, there was just constant action, except for in the first episodes, but we never got to really, like, listen to the characters. Like, they never really talked much, and we got to see, like, their own personal thoughts. Like, Jace, like, the clips he were in was, like, when Victor woke up and then when he went to the Hex thing. Like, every character just kind of felt like they were, like, doing their own thing. And they're trying to make, like, some other characters a thing now, like the hobo guy and then the orange-haired Piltover Enforcer girl, which I feel like it's a little too late in the game to be, like, adding them to, like, some of the more main characters list. I felt like they should have, like, very subtly and slowly added them in. This time they kind of, like, forced them on us. It's like, what? Where did these people come from? I mean, the orange-haired girl, Piltover Enforcer, makes sense because she's an enforcer, but, like, the hobo dude, it's like, who's he? He's just, like, invited to, like, some of the meetings now. Like, bro went from a bum to, like, a Piltover representative in, like, 2 seconds. But so far, the season is, like, a 10 out of 10 for me. First episode, a little slow, but, like, you know, it had to build up all this craziness. And that was probably going to be, like, the only slow episode because we, like, can basically guess now moving forward. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 are going to be wild. I just hope they don't ruin my girl Caitlyn because I liked Caitlyn before because she was just kind of, like, chill. I mean, she was still a good soldier and a good fighter, but, like, she was, like, the only character who, like, you know, wasn't super crazy. Although it would be kind of cool to see how, like, her grief is affecting her and how she's gone, like, kind of mad. But Caitlyn made me so mad. Like, girl, I get it. You lost your mom. Like, that must be really tough, and we sympathize with her. But I do not feel sorry for you when you're treating Vi like crap. Vi's been through so much. Like, her real parents got murdered by enforcers, and you asked her to be enforcer, and she did. Like, how? Like, that must have hurt so bad, but Caitlyn doesn't even care. Second of all, her sister murdered her adoptive family, who, like, you know, became, like, an actual family to her. And then, like, destroyed more people that Vi cared about. Like, all Jinx did was kill Caitlyn's mom, but Jinx killed, like, a ton of people that Vi cared about. Like, if anything, Vi should be the one, like, I'm gonna kill Jinx, and I'm gonna be revenge crazy. Like, Caitlyn, you need to get your head back on straight. Like, it's okay to, like, want to feel revenge or something, but, like, at least be nice to Vi, because Vi never did anything to her. In fact, Vi was there for her. So that girl's kind of making me a little upset. Poor Vi. Vi's, like, the only character who's, like, just kind of doesn't really have a big role to play. She's just kind of floating around. It seems like they're gonna make, like, Caitlyn become a more main-ish character along with Vi, because in the first 3 episodes, Vi, like, she just became a Piltover Enforcer, and that was pretty much it. And she fought her sister, but, like, she didn't really have a ton of roles to play. So I cannot justify Caitlyn's behavior right now. Like, her mom died, but, like, once again, where are the therapists in this town? Like, you're telling me this is the most progressive city, but there are no freaking therapists? Otherwise, Professor Heimerdinger's got a little flair to him this season. He's got something extra. I mean, bro's, like, jumping around. Like, the whole scene when he was with Echo and they were sneaking into Jace's office, he was, like, going through, like, the vents and rolling around. Like, bro's, like, 5,000 years old and he's doing all that. Meanwhile, I'm only 15 and can barely roll out of bed in the mornings. He probably tap dances his way out. I like the whole trio there. Echo, Professor Heimerdinger, and Jace. The old people versus the new people. Because I like Echo as a character, and they haven't really been doing him much justice this season and giving him a lot of screen time. So I hope that those 3 get more, because they're pretty funny together. So there was my thoughts on the first 3 episodes that came. I really like them, and I highly recommend you still watch them. And I cannot wait till November 16th. When the next set of 3 come out. Please feel free to comment in the comments, like, this time for real. Like, the recaps, you know, were just recaps, but this, like, I'd love to hear your thoughts, what you think so far, like, actually. And I want to hear your opinions, too, on, like Caitlyn's whole character development, Jinx and her whole character development. I want to hear some talking here. Make sure to like the video if you've enjoyed, and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more important reviews coming up. This is super off topic, but Wicked is coming out soon, and I will be reviewing that movie. I can't wait. It's going to be like a 2 hour and 40 minutes, and I cannot sit still, so it's going to be very interesting. But it has Ariana Grande, and I love her, so I'm kind of excited. So if you're kind of sick of the whole Arcane stuff, then there's that coming up. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around.